Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, let's talk about these two gentlemen for a tad bit because both of them have news coming out the day of the taping of this program. One of them being many-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, the fella in red. There was a rumor that these two guys could become teammates at Mercedes-Benz, but that may have just been a bargaining ploy as the fellow in red, that being Sebastian Vettel, signed on for a 3-year extension at Scuderia Ferrari. We talked about his teammate, Kimi Räikkönen, signing on for the 2018 season. Vettel here has got a real shot at the championship for 2017, along with the fella in white, that being many-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton, too, has a very good shot at this year's Formula One World Championship, but he did something even bigger because he's gone straight up level with Michael Schumacher for record amount of poles. A list that I didn't think Michael Schumacher would ever get beaten at, the amount of poles he had, the amount of wins he had, the amount of championships. Mr. Hamilton here is still young enough that he could have a shot at least a couple more of those records themselves, and his next pole run will make him the all-time leader in qualifying. So big congratulations for Lewis Hamilton. This is a heck of a feat to come up with this many pole runs. So pretty neat deal, and I cannot wait for Spa-Francorchamps. I was about only 12 hours away. Next up on the list, let's talk about Volkswagen's brand new T-Roc. This is the smallest SUV inside of their lineup underneath the Atlas and the Tiguan. This particular vehicle will be going on sale in not too very amount of time, even though Volkswagen has yet to announce pricing or availability on this machine as of yet. The vehicle comes with 3 different petrol gasoline options, also 3 different diesel options. These engines range in between 115 horsepower all the way up to 190 horsepower. You can also get this thing in 2-wheel drive trim, that being front-wheel drive with an optional manual transmission. You can also get it in 4MATIC all-wheel drive with a brand new 7-speed DSG gearbox. The thing comes with all the safety goodies that you'd ever want, including a big infotainment screen in the center, a configurable center instrument cluster as well, and the thing is pretty doggone good looking to boot. Now the interesting thing is this vehicle will be available all over the planet very soon, except in the United States, which is kind of strange, but there's a lot of people in the know that are pointing towards this vehicle will be coming stateside very soon, but we'll have to wait on that front. Last up on the list, here's a shot from the opening sequence of the movie Baby Driver. Now, you may have seen my review of this film. Now, I watched this movie for the first time right around the 4th of July. I waited about a week before doing a review on it, and during the review, this is where I'm going to kind of bare my soul a little bit. During that review process of gathering information, watching a lot of interviews and stuff like that, something happened to me, and I have now become somewhat addicted to this film, because now I've seen it 2 more times. In fact, the movie theaters almost have $100 of my money just to see this one movie. And it doesn't stop there, because I've already purchased the soundtrack. And just the week of the taping of this particular program, for the first time ever, I own a movie poster from the movie theater. Yes, one of the display posters from outside of it's already framed and hanging up in Motor Cars HQ. I've got another one that's on its way. I don't know what happened. Something clicked, and now I have an oddly addiction to this thing. I have a very addictive personality. It's amazing that I'm not a junkie in some way, shape, or form, but it's just weird. The opening sequence for this film is on YouTube, the first 4 or 5 minutes of this movie involving this particular Subaru. And I'll put it up on the Facebook page if you haven't actually seen it yet. I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched it in its entirety on the old YouTubes. But the reason for me talking about this, I guess I probably should say too, I've actually bid on a lot of movie memorabilia. I don't own any movie memorabilia. And I'm still really mad about one of them. The rear license plate off the back of this Subaru. I wanted it bad. Yeah, I missed out on that thing, and I'm still angry about it that I didn't get that thing. I don't own any movie memorabilia, so I have no idea why this is actually taking place. Now, back to the reason why I'm even talking about this deal. Because in the opening sequence, it's a big sequence of sliding around. The cars actually flopping all over the place. This being one of these 2006 or 2007 Subaru WRX 2.5 Ti's. Now, the trick is, they built 5 of these things for the shooting of this film. I'm assuming that one of them is actually owned by Subaru of North America because they did a lot of hype on this particular film. I know of one of them, at least, is owned by Anson Elgart. He is the lead role in this film. He plays the role of Baby, and he pleaded the studios to give him one of these Subarus. And there were 3 left. Now, a lot of these cars, a lot of these last 3s did the big rounds, the red carpet premieres, also obviously in the films themselves. Most of them being actually transformed, a lot of suspension work done on them, and the vehicles were actually converted to rear-wheel drive. Now, one of these cars came up for auction on the old eBay website, and I held back as best I could not to actually bid on this car. Not like it would have made any difference. Because I think this may be the most money ever paid for a Subaru WRX. And this is nothing bad to say about the WRX at all, because there's a good chance I'm going to own one of these here in a little while. Here's the trick. This car sold for $69,100 US. Yes, you heard me right. Almost $70,000 for a butchered up 2-wheel drive WRX 2.5 Ti. I just absolutely stunned that it went for that kind of money. Albeit, I think I would have owned it if I would have had that kind of cash laying around. It would have been the biggest memorabilia movie piece I've ever owned, and I've never owned any. So, pretty neat, interesting little story, at least in my world. But if you haven't seen Baby Driver yet, if you can find it in the theaters, or you want to, and join me just outside of Motor Cars HQ, I think it's playing again on Wednesday, one of my local theaters, and I'm probably going to be there to see it for a 4th time. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiast. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. Links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.